There's a moment in every childhood when someone asks, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Most kids have big answers. Astronaut, movie star, explorer. Mine was a fire truck driver. But one quiet little boy from Minnesota didn't have an answer. And sadly, no one ever asked. He blended into the back row of the classroom, the kind of kid whose hand was never raised and never missed. His teachers overlooked him. His classmates barely knew he was there. He moved through life like a pencil sketch, light, unfinished, easy to erase. And the world seemed to agree. His school yearbook rejected every single cartoon he drew. His physics teacher gave him a 0. In 8th grade, he failed every subject. When the class picked superlatives, most likely to succeed, funniest, most artistic, his name never even appeared on the list. He had a nickname, though, Sparky. Not because he was bright or energetic, but because of a horse in an old comic strip. It was a joke. One more reminder he didn't quite fit. Later, broadcaster Paul Harvey described him this way. Sparky wasn't actually disliked by the other youngsters. No one cared enough about him to even dislike him. Invisible, forgettable, unremarkable. But Sparky had a secret. One tiny spark of defiance nobody noticed. He drew. His notebooks were filled with cartoons. Not perfect ones, not polished ones, but honest ones. Scribbles that made sense to him in a way the rest of the world didn't. He wasn't great at school or sports or socializing, but he could make sense of life when he put it into lines and frames. And one day, he decided to try something bold. He sent a portfolio to the Walt Disney Studios. When the envelope came back, he already knew what it would say. "Thank you, but no." A polite form letter. "We only hire the very finest artists." Sparky wasn't one of them. Most people would have stopped there, but he didn't. He didn't try to prove Disney wrong. He didn't try to impress his classmates. He didn't chase after the world that kept overlooking him. He drew the only thing he truly understood, himself. He created a little boy who couldn't fly a kite, a little boy whose baseball team never won, a little boy whose crush never noticed him, a little boy who always felt one step behind everyone else. And he named that boy Charlie Brown. For years, readers didn't know the truth. The shy kid fumbling through every strip wasn't fiction at all. He was Sparky's autobiography, told in ink instead of words. Every failure, every humiliation, every quiet heartbreak had been turned into something gentle and somehow universal. Millions of kids who felt invisible suddenly saw themselves on the page. Millions of adults did, too. The world that once ignored him now clipped his cartoons from newspapers, bought his books, and tuned into his specials each holiday season. His characters became part of American culture. Snoopy on lunchboxes, Lucy with her football, Linus with his blanket. But the real twist? The man behind it all never stopped thinking of himself as the kid no one noticed. His real name was Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts, the most influential cartoonist of the 20th century, a man whose little failures became one of the most beloved comic strips of all time. And here's the part that would have stunned that quiet boy in the back of the classroom. By the time his career ended, Schulz's work appeared in over 2,600 newspapers, read by 355 million people in 75 countries. The Invisible Kid became impossible to overlook, all because one young boy, one they called Sparky, decided that failure wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning. And the world is still reading it. This has been Twist of Fate Radio. I'm Angela Clark. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest choices lead to the biggest consequences. Want to explore more stories like this? Visit twistoffateradio.com. There you can read more details about this story and others like it. Plus, you can submit your own Twist of Fate story to be considered for a future episode. You never know what twist of fate is coming next.